Hello travelers, this is your Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising video for July 2024. This is a general reading and the messages will not resonate with everyone. I suggest that you check back to your Moon and Rising sign video. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, I used to have a website, but I had to get rid of it when I had my stroke because I couldn't do all the work. So I have an email address. So if you would like to get a personal reading from me, you can find my reading packages under the About box section of my channel. To get to the About box section, you have to find my channel link, my custom link that says at the cards _ hidden notice tarot. Underneath there you will see my name, and next to my name is an arrow to the right, so you have to click on the arrow and it can open up the About box section. There I have listed my reading packages to include the number of minutes, the number of questions, the price, and the delivery method. I told you about the custom link, right? I think so, yes. And that's the same on handheld devices and on desktop. Simply email me at the address right here on the screen, hiddennoticetarot@gmail.com, and say, for instance, Tara, I would like a 30-minute reading, and I will promptly answer you back with booking instructions and a payment link. All you have to do is fill out the booking instructions and submit your payment, and then I will respond back to you that I got it, and my turnaround time is 48 to 72 hours once I receive both the payment and the instructions for the booking. I don't like to make people wait. I'm having a hard time talking right now. When I get tired, and I'm tired a little bit, it's hard for me to talk, especially when I gotta say so many words at one time. So that's that. I have it written down so I won't forget. And I have with me today the Radiant White deck, the La Vera Sibila for clarification should we need, and we'll wrap the reading up with an angel answer with Golden Nostradamus. Let me turn the camera around. I will shuffle and rifle the deck one more time. I've already done some premeditation and shuffling on your sign and glyph for the month of July. These are possible energies. They can't be true for everybody. So in order to know about what your situation is about or how it may turn out, you have to get a personal reading. Shuffle. Cut the deck. 9 cards down. Here we go. The 4 of Cups, the 7 of Swords, the Ace of Wands, next row, the Ace of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the Knight of Cups. Last row, the Star card, the Four of Wands, the Five of Cups, and what is over the entire reading, the energy over the entire reading. Let me straighten the cards out. It is the High Priestess. What do I have? I have 3 swords, 2 cups, 2 wands, and a major arcana card, which are your spiritual lessons. The cups represent the emotional quotient. The swords represent thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, ideas, and communication. The wands represent your passion, your focus, your determination, and your desire. I think I said I had 2 cups. I have 3 cups. 3 cups, 3 swords, 2 wands, and a major arcana card. And we will start in the center of the reading with the 8. 8 of Swords. 8s are usually comic numbers that tend to relate to finances. But in this case, we have a sword. And the sword says, the card says, you are in a situation in which you don't feel comfortable. But this is only what you think. You have placed yourself in this situation, and it says that maybe you are what am I trying to say? I will come back to it. If you look at the card, the image of the card, there is a woman standing stock still in the middle of an open field or beach. She has her feet in the water. So that tells me you are feeling some way uncomfortably about your situation. But if you look closely at the cards, and the swords, the woman is not surrounded at all. She can take off the blindfold and free herself from the bonds. She's not wrapped too tightly, and she will see that she's not trapped. Sometimes this card has a connotation of going to jail or being imprisoned. That's where we are. So let's start. Past, present, future. Past, present, future. Interplay of the cards. The 4 of Cups. It is a 4, which indicates stable foundations. But sitting underneath the tree is a figure who is not accepting anything that the cup has to offer. He has 3 cups in the front of him, and that indicates he is somewhat comfortable with what he has. An offer may be presented to you. It doesn't tell me what kind of offer. Cups, it's something you feel emotional about, or you have emotions about it. And the card says, do not turn down a potential cup of happiness, because you don't know where you'll find your happiness from. But right now, there you sit. Somebody has offered you something, but you don't think you're not excited about it. You're not. Another thing the card is telling me is that in order to get through this feeling, sometimes we have to risk what we think we have in order to get better. Okay? And this card definitely implies something's better is coming. It depends on what the offer is. Right? Now, the 7 of Swords, it's a 7, and all 7s represent a moment of self-doubt. This card is traditionally interpreted as lying, spying, sticking your nose in where it don't belong, theft, And if it's theft, it's in broad daylight. See the people back there in the background? He's stealing in broad daylight. But to me, it implies that you have been involved in a previous conflict. Why? Because he's carrying 5 swords. And he's got 2 still left behind. So the question is, 2 swords to me mean being of 2 minds about something. Do I go back and get them, or do I just run off with what I have? But there's another meaning of the card. The card says, if something is not going right in your life, that's because you're rushing around and you're not paying attention to it. It says that arguments, fights, tension is present. The 5 swords. And not to be upset if things are not going right or if there are delays. Sometimes the card means, a third interpretation is that something that you thought you have lost will be returned to you. A fourth interpretation says it's a 7, so expect a surprise. Then we move over to the Ace of Wands. All aces are opportunities. And this says there is an opportunity for fresh determination, new projects. Traditionally, the wands are interpreted as some kind of work venture with your career or something. But basically, it says it's an opportunity to get excited about something new. You're not too excited right here. But the energy is there that you can. We have to determine out of all the interpretations what the 7 is all about. Are you really rushing around, not paying attention to everything? Have there been fights? Have there been arguments? Has there been some type of delay? But the energy is there. The opportunity is there for you to take advantage of. Next we come to the Ace of Swords. Out of all the aces in the deck, this one is the most powerful. And it says when it appears in a spread, something is going to change. And we see the change right here with the Knight. I'll explain that in a second. Sometimes traditionally this card is interpreted as the Ace of Swords. It is interpreted as a traditional proposal. And that can mean a proposal like somebody getting down on their one knee and proposing to you. Or it can be a written out proposal. Something that in the mental realm, like a contract. Because what is a marriage but a contract? In its simplest form, it's a contract. But it also says that it can be the excessive degree of everything. Because it's a sword, it cuts both ways. So it may be that you have to make a decision under stressful circumstances. And that brings about anxiety, fear, second guessing yourself. We don't know what it's telling us, the whole story. Next we have the Knight of Cups. And all Knights, I interpret all pages and Knights as messages. The pages represent a tentative message, and the Knights represent a more fully fledged message. However, the Knight of Cups has the energy of being very fickle. You can't pin him down. He says all the right things. He does all the right things. But you can't pin him down to exactly what's going on. This is an emotional situation. And it's a message because he wears the rings of Mercury on his helmet and his boots. But you don't know if you can trust this message, because the horse has not stepped over the stream. Implies that it has not hit home yet. Like you can really count on it. He says all the right things. He does all the right things. He can seem really dreamy. But you can't pin him down. The Star card. One of the major arcana cards. It represents peace, hope, wishes, healing. It says that you are on the right path. But in order to get the benefit of the card, you have to be able to draw from your own well. See how the figure is leaning over and she's drawing up water from into one jug and she's pouring it out from another. This represents Venus and the Pleiades star system, the 7 sisters. And also implies that you have to be comfortable. She's naked. And it infers a degree of comfort with herself. The 4 of Wands. Basically, the card says, it's a 4, just like the 4 of Cups. But basically, the card says that you should celebrate yourself. Maybe you bought a new house. You have a new car, you have money in the bank, or you reach your financial goal, or you reach your career goal. And so you should celebrate that because you worked hard at it. You came through the wand, Ace of Wands, the 2 of Wands, meaning a choice or decision. The 3 of Wands, you decided to move forward. And the 4 of Wands, it's a stable situation. Sometimes the card means that a relationship will become of deeper meaning and consequence than what you thought was possible. I like to call this card the shacking up card. This is where you meet somebody and you move in together with them. You don't have a formal contract, but you have, let's say, a handshake and a word contract. And then we come to the 5 of Cups. 5s are moments of tension, ups and downs. Things don't necessarily feel stable like they do here with the 4. So the card represents sadness, bitterness, sorrow, crying over something from the past. But I like to call this card myself the 2 of Cups in disguise. There's a saying, don't hide your light under a bushel. So to me, this card represents the 2 of Cups in disguise. Because while you're crying over what has gone away or left your life or that you lost, if you quit being sad about it, you can turn around and there are 2 cups of potential happiness right in front of you. So you're looking in the wrong direction. Over the whole reading is a High Priestess. And the High Priestess is about meditation, contemplation. It's a moon energy, so it's changeable sometimes. It says trust your intuition. What is your intuition telling you about the situation? You can trust in what it tells you. And you don't have to always make a move. You can simply sit with the feelings or the emotions and watch what's going on. She is the keeper of the library. So that usually implies either she's psychic or very, very smart. I've seen this card sometimes show up for people when they're autistic. They have Asperger's syndrome. But just because they have autism or Asperger's doesn't mean they don't know what's going on. and she holds a Torah in her lap. Those are the secrets to the library. So she's simply someone who sees a lot, hears a lot, knows a lot, but she doesn't always tell you everything. She's rather secretive. Now, I have 2 4s and 2 aces. 2 4s mean that you are being overly cautious about everything, but 2 aces can speak to a wedding or an engagement. I like to say a commitment as well. That's what that 2 aces mean. So my question is, why do you feel like you're in a uncomfortable situation? Because whatever it is, the card says you brought that on yourself. If it's the way that you've been thinking, because you start out with 7 swords and you end up with another sword where you're in an 8 sword position. And yes, there were fights, because the Ace of Wands to the 4 of Wands equals 5 Wands. There's some kind of disturbance. Arguments, maybe people are trying to get their, both trying to get their point across. Sometimes it's somebody playing head games with you, like saying one thing and doing another. That's what the 5 of Swords stands for, represents. So I can't look at the Knight of Cups because traditionally he's a court card. It could be that this is someone younger than yourself, but they never show up to me like people, only messages. And it comes to move a situation along. Whatever is blocking you right here, the situation comes to move yourself along. So let's turn him over. And I can tell you what all these cards mean, maybe, next to the Star card. The 4 of Cups, the 7 of Swords, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the 4 of Wands, and the 5 of Cups as they relate to the Star card. Let me get my notes. We will take the cards just as they fell in the spread. So, the 4 of Cups. And whatever this message is, it ends up making you sad, because that, from the 4 to this cup being offered, leads to a 5 of Cups. The 4 of Cups can sometimes suggest that you are feeling melancholy, bored, and or unhappy. This may encourage carelessness and emotional discontent and lack of motivation, but it also tells of new opportunities to come. And sometimes this card can represent new ideas coming to the fore. But it tells me nothing next to the Star card. The 7 of Swords. Next to the Star card, it tells me nothing. But it says, it may indicate that dealings may be dishonest or not straightforward and direct. It brings a message to be particularly aware of proceedings, all proceedings, and remain cautious. You feel like you're carrying a heavy burden or load on your shoulders. So you are asked to delegate any tasks and responsibilities to others, and not to take other people's responsibilities from them, as this denies them the opportunity to learn the lessons of their own actions in regards to cause and effect. It may be a warning that your plans will not work out at this time due to circumstances beyond your control. You may need to look for alternative options or means. It tells of upset plans, postponements, delays, and cancellations. It's as though everything is going wrong around you at this moment. It tells of the possibility of tension, arguments, disagreements, and misunderstandings within a current situation. It may also imply that someone is delving into issues that are none of their business. But it tells me nothing next to the Star card. The Ace of Wands. Matter of fact, the only suit that is not here is the Pentacles, which would tell me that it's either financially related or that there's something you have to do. The Ace of Wands says, remain alert to positive offers in the form of any type of communication. It is a message to accept all offer invitations and to look out for a letter, email, or phone call which could herald wonderful news. Accept any invitations offered, whether work or social related. Remember, opportunity can come from any source. There you are sitting around not feeling it. You're not feeling it. The Eight of Swords. It says, if you want to make changes in your life, then it is up to you to make them. It implies the time of new beginnings and asks you to put the past behind you in order to be able to move forward towards a prosperous future. See, that's what I say. You're facing the wrong direction. It implies that there is a focus on a critical and potentially volatile situation or circumstance, and you may find yourself in the position of having to take action or make a decision under stressful circumstances. Therefore, it is important that you keep your emotions balanced in order to make the correct decision. See your feet in the water? And when you're thinking like this, it can be a difficult energy to come out of. The 8 and 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords can be a difficult energy to come out of. But it's all mental. It's all in your head. The Ace of Swords doesn't tell me anything by the Star card. Eight of Swords. Although you may be feeling trapped by your situation, your mind is free and full of activity. You are asked to use this time to reflect on how the situation came about and how you will act once it's over. I think in one regard, you're going to be asked, you're going to get a chance to leave the situation behind. Once you are free of your current situation, you will feel a new sense of determination and personal strength. It implies a fear and hurt and confusion. You are unable to think clearly. You may have become involved in several unsuccessful ventures in an attempt to gain freedom. You are fearful of moving out of the situation, and feelings of confusion and a lack of clarity abound. But the lady who is trapped in the situation is trapped in a situation of her own making. The ties and bonds are loose enough and can be shaken free if she chooses. This is a feeling of being trapped in an uncomfortable situation, but it is self-inflicted and or self-imposed. It would be easy to be free if an effort was made. With some clear thought, one is able to see themselves out of the situation. But if one refuses to think and or see clearly, one will remain in the negative situation. It tells me nothing next to the Star card. The Four of Wands. Perhaps this may have been about a holiday or a trip. I don't really see an indication of travel other than a horse, which implies movement, but also travel. The Four of Wands does not tell me anything about being next to the Star card, but the divinatory message is a time to pause and celebrate after hard efforts. Now the Five of Cups. Next to the Star card. Here we go. Tells of karmic lessons being experienced and learned, and of the issue leaving your life. There are bright blessings ahead of you. It tells that karmic conditions have now passed with the debt being paid. There are now new endeavors. It suggests that maybe you are worried that love will pass you by and there is a feeling of being unloved. The Five of Cups may presage the breakup of a relationship, marriage, or partnership of some kind, or of losing something of personal value and importance to you. Don't dwell on what might have been, because this is a futile exercise. It is far better to accept things and learn the lesson and then move on. It may be telling that you are experiencing a feeling of bitterness that could create real problems in a relationship. It indicates dissatisfaction and unhappiness brought about by a feeling of a missed opportunity or unjust situation. Let's go to the Sibyllus, because I really want to know, what situation do you find yourself that you have created for yourself mentally? Because everything else is going on around the, and not a lot of movement. This, I think you will only have one opportunity to get out from under this situation. But it could mean that you lose something or someone very important to you. So, let's look at the Eight of Swords first. The Donna de Servicio, she is a helper card, and she is designed to help you basically like a servant. She does things for you, but there are other connotations to this card. Because there are stairs, at the stairs, it can indicate a climbing up of social rank or social rank. But she also carries a handkerchief and flowers. So the flowers can be a gift, and the handkerchief can be like a truce or waving goodbye. L'amante, female lover. This card says this is a very emotional time for you. She is typically related to the Queen of Cups, but it says that she does not have the ability to really explain herself or express herself. Donati. Now this is a funny card. It lands in the suit of hearts, but it's about money. It's about property, about things that you would like to keep secret. They're locked up in a safe. But it falls in the suit of hearts and not the pentacles, because people know that most times there are arguments over money. So this can relate to something very precious to you that maybe is locked away, or maybe you are locking it away yourself. Those are three pretty positive cards. So I don't see what the problem is. I don't have to know exactly what the problem is to read the cards, because I don't even have to understand the story. I just have to bring the messages to you. Now we'll look at the Seven of Swords. The casa, which can be the home, but it also be an official building. But the connotation is whatever you keep locked up inside, because the building is a haven away from trouble. It's also where people are supposed to love you and care for you, but it also says sometimes you keep things locked up where people can't see. We never know what goes on behind closed doors. Not really. The consolante sorpresa, the comforting surprise. It's just like the card looks. The guy went fishing, and what he got was a bag of money instead. So he'll take it. Viaggio, a trip, usually a vacation. Somebody is either away or they're coming back. So now this leaves me with the Five of Cups. Why are you so sad? These cards seem to be pretty positive. Like maybe somebody offered to take you away on a vacation. They offered you a good time. There are postponements and delays, or you had to rush around and you weren't paying attention to what was going on. You go on the trip, you go on the vacation, but something happens. And it looks to me like it started out being the perfect vacation, or the idea of a perfect time, a hope. The Vedova. This card says the widower, but he doesn't have to be a widow at all. He can simply be someone who does not know how to love, or he's trapped in the past. But it indicates that someone that you used to support you will take away their support, and you will feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. The Sansa, the room. This is about people who know each other really well. Sometimes there are secrets between the two people. But if you look at the card, there is a room and everything is askew. Looks like there was a fight in the room. And the Superbia. This card indicates all those people who, most of the time, I think it represents males, because the male of the species of peacock, of birds, is always more colorful than the female. That's first. Second of all, the card can represent anybody who feels like they have a blue blood, or they are very vain. They like the finer things in life. And it is one of the only cards that can negate any negative energy. But this still doesn't tell me what the problem is in the spread. So take that for what it's worth. Maybe there is more to the story that the cards are not telling me. Obviously there is. I'm trying to see if I can pick up anything else. I have nothing else. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius, for July 2024. Maybe there is something more that is going on to the story than I know about, but the cards aren't telling. And that's the way it works sometimes. So, good luck. I forgot to pull you a Nostradamus card. Let's see what, maybe this will tell me what it's all about. So we'll pull one card, and I'll read the meanings to you, because the Sibilas aren't telling me. It kind of hints at what the problem it may be. It might be financial. It might be somebody going on a trip or a vacation. It might be somebody at the last, right in the end of the vacation or trip. The person pulls the support from you, and you have a fight. And the person can act kind of snooty about it. I always say, if a person shows up as a knight, be careful. It's a young, youthful energy. If you are a queen, you deserve a king and not a knight. The Castle. And that kind of relates to this card, the Kaza. It kind of relates to this card. You see the castle in the background. It even relates to this card because there's a castle in the background. So let's read what the castle is about. Number 19. The headstrong, bold pursue their hopeless dreams, while cowards never act, but only scheme. Be bold, passionate, and challenge yourself before challenging others. Be careful of being overconfident, and be sure you're understanding what your true aspirations are. Maybe you didn't want to marry the guy. You thought you did, but you didn't. That happens. The castle. So there you go. I hope that helps than before, but I forgot that part. So good luck.